Hey guys, it's Scott here from Xenoblade Play, and today I'm going to unbox the European release of Xenoblade Chronicles 3D for the Nintendo 3DS, or should I say the new Nintendo 3DS, as this game is exclusive to that platform. So yeah, that's right, if you own a Nintendo 3DS system you won't be able to play this game, as this particular game only works on the new Nintendo 3DS and new Nintendo 3DS XL systems, as it clearly states at the top of the packaging. So that's one of the major differences you'll notice between normal 3DS and new 3DS games, is the fact that the banner isn't on the right hand side, it's at the top, and more interestingly they'll come in black cases with black borders as opposed to white borders and white cases, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So you saw the front cover, which is pretty much the same as it was for the Wii release a couple of years back. We then have the spine, which follows the black trend and traditional type of font for Nintendo published titles. Moving on to the back of the packaging, you've got a list of all the various activities and adventuring quests that you can do in the game, such as explore a mysterious world, master powerful combat arms. But there's also a rundown of some additional new tweaks, such as amiibo support. So for example, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D for the new Nintendo 3DS only supports the Shulk amiibo character, which I've been told is incredibly difficult to find. So if you do happen to have Shulk, then you'll be able to use him in this game to unlock additional rewards. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the packaging and style and design of the new Nintendo 3DS games are quite different to the just standard 3DS titles. So as you can see, the Xenoblade Chronicles game comes in a black case with black style and artwork design, whereas the normal 3DS game, which in this case I'm using Zelda's Majora's Mask, which came out a couple of weeks ago, to demonstrate. So if you're new to the Nintendo DS scene, or new to the Nintendo 3DS scene, or vice versa, it won't be that difficult to get them mixed up. So case in point nowadays is, if it's in a black case, or black slimline case, it's going to be for the new Nintendo 3DS. If it's in a white slimline case, then it's going to be for the 3DS, and then if it's in a thick see-through case, it'll be for the DS console, which doesn't get much exposure nowadays. Moving away the cellophane and inside to the actual game itself, as you'll notice, there's no Club Nintendo card whatsoever, as you won't receive any points nowadays for Club Nintendo software, but there is two pieces of documentation, one of which shows you the information for the new 3DS and original DS and 2DS consoles, as well as a flip through for all the various different popular games that Nintendo published for those platforms. And then interestingly, if you turn it around, you'll get information on how to download games from the eShop, and how to find your electronic manual, as obviously games nowadays don't include manuals. And then whatever reason, you get the usual Nintendo 3DS leaflet with all the usual health and safety guidelines, which is basically a repeat of what's come with the console itself. Yet again, this is a close-up of the actual game cartridge. The cartridge itself mimics that of other original 3DS game cartridges, so if you just see the cartridge on its own, it can become a bit confusing as they're both white. However, as you can see, the new Nintendo 3DS cartridge has black borders, whereas the original 3DS cartridge has white borders. So yeah, again, you're not really going to get confused. It's pretty straightforward and simple. I mean, it was a bit weird that Nintendo were thinking of putting them in white cases, but thankfully they decided to put them in black cases, just to make it that a little bit easier for people that do get confused. So that's what you can expect from Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, which is coming soon to the new 3DS.